From repeat top performers to a buffet of violations, our first Food for Thought report of 2025 is stuffed.
Lubbock health inspectors started the new year with more than 4 dozen surprise inspections. KCBD News Channel 11's Christy Harton tells us what they found. Christy.
Karen and Abner, we're ringing in the new year with a full plate in this week's Food for Thought. We start with the violations.
Cavern Indian Cuisine at 3806 50th had 28 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Potatoes on the buffet line were not at least 135 degrees. Raw eggs were above ready-to-eat foods. The blade of the can opener was dirty. Multiple canned food items were dented. This can cause botulism. An employee did not properly wash their hands. An employee did not use a barrier like a paper towel to turn off the faucet at the hand sink. A barrier must be used to prevent cross-contamination. An employee came from outside and did not wash their hands before putting on gloves and beginning food prep. Toxic items were stored above food and equipment. A dishwasher cleanser was not labeled. The waste pipe at the 3-compartment sink was leaking. The inspector notes, due to the number and the nature of the critical violations, management did not demonstrate proper food safety knowledge. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. Lapa Lapa Mexican restaurant at 6253 Slide had 29 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Cooked rice was above the safe cold temperature of 41 degrees. Multiple foods were not stored correctly, including raw eggs over ready-to-eat picadillo. Raw beef and raw chicken were above raw fish. Raw beef was over raw chicken. Cans of nacho cheese were heavily dented. This can cause botulism. An employee put on gloves without first washing their hands. There was no soap at a hand sink. A cutting board had a broken edge. 2 glass bowls were chipped with sharp edges, and a plastic lid was melted. Rice was stored in a grocery bag in the microwave. Oysters were not stored with a shell stock tag. Now, that contains information about its origin. The inspector notes, due to the violations, knowledge of foodborne disease prevention was not shown. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. The Pecan Grill inside the Overton Hotel and Conference Center at 2322 Mac Davis Lane had 30 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Several items on the breakfast buffet were not cold enough, including milk, yogurt, and watermelon. They must be kept at 41 degrees or below. Ready-to-eat sausage, pasta, and potatoes in a cooler were not cold enough. Ready-to-eat sausage was not at least 135 degrees. Roast beef, pasta, watermelon, and slaw were all held past their 7-day use-by date. Ham did not have a use-by date. Strawberries were molded. Several items were stored improperly, including raw bacon above cooked chicken wings, raw ground beef above whole cuts of beef, and raw duck above corned beef. The sanitizer solution at the 3-compartment sink was too strong. Toxic chemicals such as cleaning materials were not labeled. There was not a temperature gauge for the dishwasher or in a prep cooler. The report shows most violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. Now to the good news. Here's a look at this week's top performers. Giorgio's Pizza at 1018 Broadway, Kiva Juice at 4410 19th, Pushin' Nutrition at 508 50th, Starbucks at 11805 Quaker, and Duncan at 803 University.
To look at all of the violations, just head to our website at kcbd.com and click on Food for Thought. Karen and Abner, back to you.
Thank you, Christy.